Well, it's July 2023. The month's more than half over, and we're sitting here in the first heat wave with Canadian wildfire smoke and hanging in the air over Anderson. And
Yes.
It's time to catch up. Last night, council approved on second reading an ordinance setting up guidelines for RV parks in the county. How will the county regulate this, and how did this whole idea come about?
Well, there have always been RV parks, but there's been a massive explosion in RV parks across the country. And because we have Lake Hartwell, because we have 85, because we have a lot of other attractions other than Hartwell, that you have a lot of people who just want to come here and visit. And the county had regulations on this, but not specifically tailored to address that problem. And it was becoming a problem because they need to be up to certain standards for the safety of, the people who live around them, plus the people who are going to go there. So council had been working on this. They had held public hearings. They had talked to RV park developers. They had talked to citizens. Special meetings just focused on that. And then council put together this ordinance to regulate RV parks. So we think that's going to be something good for the citizens of the county.
And the kind of things they're regulating are the look of them, the entrance, the
look
it
of
can't
them.
be in community, location.
Yeah, I mean, where they go, how they're set up, screening devices and things like that so that they will fit in and blend in.
And there's one under construction adjacent to Green Pond now, right?
There's one under construction, Tiger Cove, right now that is under construction. Now, they are not subject to these regulations, but just by chance, they pretty much meet those regulations.
Will that be a benefit to fishermen and stuff coming in, having that there? I mean,
Oh, absolutely, because, you have a lot of people who come in for the fishing tournaments. A number of them stay in hotels and motels, but a great number stay in short-term rentals, and more of them actually have their own RVs and would like to have a place to bring them in. You can't get much closer to Green Pond than the Tiger Cove RV Park, so that's going to be something, but that's going to be a permanent destination for a lot of people. You're going to have people from north who come down here for the winter, and they'll just stay there all during the winter. You have a lot of people that are traveling, and it's going to be a big boon for Green Pond, a huge thing, and it's going to bring a whole lot of people because they're right there at Green Pond, and you can take advantage of that.
talking about boom for Green Pond, do we have an update on maybe the economic benefits of Green Pond so far this year?
Not this year, but all total it's over $100 million. I dare say it's $150 million. This week, we have the national championship from second grade to 8th grade coming in. That's this weekend. That's going to be 400 plus boats. There are going to be people everywhere. And as we've said 1,000 times, nothing brings in more money than youth sports. Because people in the second grade can't drive.
8th grade either.
8th grade either. So somebody's bringing them here. Somebody's staying with them. There are 2 fishermen in each boat, and there's a chaperone in that boat. So you multiply that, plus grandmother and granddaddy and everybody else, and all of those people who come. So it's going to be a massive tourist influx this weekend in Anderson County. The tournament's going to run Friday and Saturday, and it's going to be a big deal. But right after that, we've got the high school championship coming in, and that's going to be another gazillion boats coming in, and they're also going to bring in a lot of relatives and coaches and suppliers and everything. So you've really got 2 big tourist weekends coming in, and they do more than fish, because when those boats go out in the morning, there's nothing to see. So they'll get in their car, they'll go downtown, they'll eat, they'll go to Pendleton, they'll go to Iva, they'll just ride around and find something to do. Then they go back when the weigh-in takes place. So, it's just real good for the local economy, and council keeps encouraging it, and we have more coming than we ever have before. There was a fishing show on last week in Michigan, and they were talking about the new development on Santee Cooper. And they said that it was really good. It was a mini Green Pond, and nobody took care of you better than the people at Green Pond. So we took that as a compliment coming from Michigan. So the legendary Green Pond Landings fame continues to spread.
I don't think people recognize widely how early kids do start fishing competitively, and
it's the second grade.
Scholarships and all.
And last night at the council meeting, we awarded the anglers from the Williamston area for their placement in a national fishing contest.
World tournament.
World tournament in Wisconsin. people don't understand. And I mean, these people are deadly serious. Those second graders know how to fish. They're not out there with a cane pole, a bobber, and some worms. They're out there fishing. So that sport is going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to grow with it, and we're going to capture as much of that business as we possibly can.
And Green Pond's pretty much booked through next spring, right? Weekends?
Yes. It is pretty much booked with tournaments. But when we don't have big tournaments, we have smaller tournaments. We'll have church groups who go out there and have tournaments. And just there's something going out there all the time, and we want something going on out there all the time. So it's been good for the county. The PCB money was put to good use. The sport fisher grants have been put to good use, and we have people. I mean, we received a letter from people who just went out to Green Pond to watch the fireworks across the lake. That's great. You can just go out there and sit down if you want to. It's a beautiful place. It's free. We have cameras everywhere. It's very well patrolled. So if you want to go out and just, sit out there and look at the water, please feel free to do so. It's for everybody.
And are there any other county projects on the lake that are underway?
Well, one of the things we're really, really excited about is our new fireboat / rescue boat. And that is here, but it is going through the process. And we'll have an announcement on that, but we will actually have a real first-class fireboat. And we're excited about that, but it's also an absolutely dynamic rescue boat. So we're going to be unveiling that here pretty quickly. County Council authorized that expenditure well over a year ago because they had to build it to our specifications. So we're real excited about that. We think it's going to make the lake a safer place, and it's going to help us take care of people better. So we're really excited about that, but more on that in the future.
And that boat will not just be to put out boats on fire, but even houses that are on the lake.
Even houses on the lake, and it can get someplace really, really fast, and it's going to be stationed kind of in the middle of the lake, so we can get somewhere fast. It will help in so many different ways that, it's just going to be a great asset to Lake Hartwell. And Council said because of the growth on Lake Hartwell, we have to have this boat out there, so we're going to have this boat. There was an article last week in the state newspaper, I believe it was the state newspaper or the Post and Courier, I forget. And they were talking about the two most dynamic lakes in South Carolina, not for fishing, dynamic lakes for growth. Lake Murray was number 1, Hartwell was number 2. It's pretty good company right there.
Well, that article said there were 242 houses on the lake.
Yep.
And that would be a pretty substantial,
Yes.
And I think the other lake was Lake Wiley was.
Yep, Lake Wiley. Yep.
And it's about a fourth the size of Hartwell.
A fourth the size of Hartwell.
And is that an important factor when people, is it starting to bring attention to here beyond just recreation when people are
Anytime you can get the name Anderson County out, it's of benefit to you, that they can put something, there's something, well, where's Anderson County? That's where they have that fish. Oh, that's where I heard of that from. And while they're looking to place their business or to move or something like that, yes, it has an impact. But what we like are those dollars that come in from people out of town that put in the local economy. And people will tell you that that's a huge increase in their business.
And the Shores of Asbury seems to be expanding finally. They finally got up and running. I think they're expanding again, correct?
Well, they're still filling in what their original promise was, but they've been going great guns and seems to be enjoyed by a lot of people on the lake.
Well, recreation in general remains a priority, and now all the 7 county districts have plans for recreation. When will those be made public and kind of get underway?
Probably sometime in September when people start, back from vacation and, people's attention. School's going to start August the 1st. So, things will settle down into kind of like a regular pattern, if that makes any sense. But I can tell you right now that we put the airport playground out for bid yesterday. I'm really excited about that. The airport playground in Spartanburg, more so the one in Greenville's, great attractions for birthday parties and things like that. So that's going out. If it didn't go out yesterday, it'll go out today for bid. And hopefully that will be ready for next spring, which will be another recreation avenue in that part of the county. Because, it's an aviation-themed playground, but, it's a playground. Come to the playground. And naturally it will be, because we're doing it, ADA compliant. We are waiting on playground equipment right now for Dolly Cooper. It's been ordered. Playground equipment, like everything else, takes a long time to get here. We're probably 7 to 8 weeks away from delivery of that playground equipment. County Council last night approved a firm to do the development for the Piedmont Park. As you know, thanks to our legislative delegation, we received over $500,000 for that.
Remind people what that is if they've forgotten what that.
Well, if you go to Piedmont and you're standing on the dam and you look down at that 29 acres right there, the county owns that. And now we have over $1 million to develop that. And it will kind of like be, here's Dolly Cooper up the river, here's this park right there at the dam. We expect traffic to increase tremendously between Dolly Cooper and that park right there, because you'll be able to go from here to there, not crossing the dam. Not that we're going to neglect what's on the other side of the dam, because that's just as important to us. But we think that's going to be a great benefit to spark growth in the Piedmont area and continue to bring more attention to the Saluda River area and bring more people in. So we're real excited about that. And we already have the federal money. We expect the state money in September, October, and we will kick that off and get that going as fast as humanly possible.
And Anderson County's been getting like a lion's share of recreation funds in recent years, right?
We get a tremendous amount of money for recreation, but we get that money because we prove that we know how to spend it. And I'm not patting ourselves on the back, because it's not me, it's the great people who work here. But we get it. We spend it on what we told you we were going to spend it in, and then you can come here. I mean, the reason Green Pond gets all those grants is because the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, those guys and the Corps guys, they come here and they go, yeah, the money we put in here is doing exactly what they said it would do and what we want to do, what our mission is. So anytime we have some stray money, let's give it to the ladies and gentlemen who know how to spend that money and do something with it and provide a recreation benefit. Yes, but we're also hoggish about any federal dollars that we can get.
Celebrate Anderson is roughly 6 weeks away now, and that's the big annual event that Anderson County hosts for all citizens. How did that get started?
That started before I was here, but it was started to celebrate Anderson, and we've continued that tradition. And this year, as you know, we're stretching it out to a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event, because we're going to have the balloons from the Anderson Cancer Association. We're partnering with them to help them raise money for their new facility, which is desperately needed, and we need to put every penny we can to help them in that. This will be a way that the people in the community can come out, support the Anderson Cancer Association, and also have a good time. Martina McBride is free. That's going to be a great concert. But we're going to have music on Friday night. We're going to have music on Saturday night. There'll be food trucks everywhere, things to do. People ought to be able to have a good time coming up on that. But before that, next week is Darius Rucker, and ticket sales have been very strong. That's being done by Upcountry Fiber.
That's a charitable concert too, right?
It's a charitable concert, but Blue Ridge Electric and Western Carolina Telephone formed Upcountry Fiber, and they're putting this on. This event used to be, you remember when they had the car show in Pickens and they did all that? Well, instead of doing that, they're doing this here, and we're very excited that they're spending their money and their time and their talent to bring Darius Rucker in here, and also to raise money for charities. We think it's a wonderful event, and we look forward to that. And the ticket sales, as I said, have been incredibly strong, so we're looking forward to that.
That new permanent stage is already paying for itself, isn't it?
Well, yes, I mean, because of that, because of the Pitbull concert.
Let's talk about Pitbull. You said tickets were starting to sell and they hadn't even advertised yet, right?
Well,
that's in October.
Yeah. Well, we've already sold over 3,000 tickets, and there's been no full-scale advertising campaign. Can you see it on the internet? Yes. But it hasn't been a push. And when that is scheduled, it's going to be prime time for everybody who likes Pitbull, and obviously a whole lot of people like Pitbull. When you pre-sale 3,000 tickets, I think that's going to be a party.
Any other big acts coming to the Civic Center or the amphitheater in the next?
I was on the phone this morning with people, and we're looking for acts. But right now, everything that's done that you're seeing this year was booked last year. And so more than likely, the spring is going to be a big time, but we expect 1 or 2 more concerts this year before the winter season, so we're excited about that. We're also working with people about having a Renaissance fair out there, so we have a lot of ideas and new things that we want to do out there.
And right across the street, any updates on Anderson Cricket Club's proposed expansion, maybe to have a bathroom or lights or something out there?
Well, right now we're trying to prepare the second cricket field. And so that's underway right now. So they will have 2 cricket fields. Our goal, and it may be 10 years away, is to become the cricket capital of the southeastern United States. They have actually formed now in the United States, starting in Texas, a professional cricket circuit. And we want to be on the cusp of that because we have a lot of activity out there, a tremendous amount of activity, and it brings people from all over this region to play because we're the only place where you can play. And when we have 2, that's going to really enhance that. But we're making incremental steps as we go along to do that. One thing on Dolly Cooper I forgot to mention, Senator Cash worked real hard on this, and Councilman Jimmy Davis getting lights for Dolly Cooper on the fields up there. So we're already in contact with an engineering company to develop that lighting program for Dolly Cooper, which we think is going to make it safer from vandalism, also allow those fields to be used longer, and for other events like Rhythm on the River and things like that. So that's a huge thing. Also, we are doing a study again, thanks to Senator Cash, Jimmy Davis, and the delegation, looking at that old bridge that's abandoned up there. We have talked with people about the possibility of a sidewalk cafe on that bridge and other things up there. So we're excited about that study going on right there. So that's moving along well.
A lot of these parks have requested bathrooms and stuff. Why are bathrooms for those things so expensive?
Because bathrooms are so expensive. A, either you're going to put it on a septic tank, which is expensive, or B, you're going to run sewer there. And sewer is out of this world expensive. We have more sewer work going on in Anderson County right now than we ever have. I talked to Derek Singleton, who runs our sewer department, who began work there when he was 4 years old. And we probably have 40 to 45 sewer projects underway right now, but growth demands it. And a lot of work that we do, not a lot, but a good bit of it, is replacing some of these old unsafe sewer lines that have been in the ground forever. We don't need any sewage leaking into Lake Hartwell. We don't need it leaking into the Saluda River. County Council is very aware of the environment. You don't need that done.
And some of those pipes are more than 100 years old. Right?
Some of those pipes were put in by mill. When the mills were built, they're made out of clay, and after about 100 years, what happens to clay? It goes away.
County's also a partner in the new Duckworth-Tucker cross-country sports park. Have you heard any updates on that?
We've had a minor role in that with helping them with fees and some other items like that. That group, I know District 5's contributed greatly to it. The YMCA's ramrodding that. But anyway, the county council can find to help them. We've been helping them with various and sundry projects. But that's going to be another blessing for Anderson County, and that's going to be another thing that's going to drive tourism. Plus, it's going to take care of all of us here. We don't have enough soccer fields. We don't have enough ball fields, and that's not going to get any better. I know that there's going to be a gap of children, really. I mean, colleges are facing this now. There's not going to be that many children old enough to go to college. I mean, that's a big problem nationwide in colleges. High schools are going to have the same thing. But here, seems like we're being fruitful and multiplying, and we need more space.
And building thousands of houses.
And usually those come equipped with 1 or 2 children.
Well, this next topic we have walked many times, and this is well worn as the topic itself. Let's talk about roads.
Rosedale County is still waiting on the completion of that road study. The rain has held us up on completing that study. We're hoping for a stretch of clear weather that will allow us to do that maybe within a month. I'm hoping it will be done in a month. Then the council could complete the ordinance for the penny sales tax. So that's exactly where we are on that.
Let's talk about referendum. What that means when you say an ordinance for that.
Well, the council has to have 3 readings of an ordinance and specify what you're going to do with that money. It's not just, hey, we want you to put this penny out here, and would y'all send us a bunch of money, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with it. That road study is part of the ordinance that says, these are the roads that we're going to pave, this is the order we're going to pave them in based on their condition. So that's what we're going to do. And you have to have that before you complete the ordinance. Then it will go to the people, and the people will either say, yes, we want to spend this money to upgrade roads, or B, we don't. Let's look at it another way. But council's looked at other ways. They don't want to put millage increase the millage necessary to fix the roads on homeowners. That's
Couldn't
one
even
of
do
the
that if
big
they wanted
things.
to, really enough to fix
Well,
them.
not enough to do anything, and they really don't want to put a car fee on. And a car fee's not going to raise that much money. So this way, it's voluntary, and with the number of people who come here that would help pay that, that's a big lick. I'm sorry, it's a big lick. Will 100% of Anderson County people pay it? That's a fact. But a whole bunch of other people are going to come in here and pay it too.
And with the 1,534 miles of county roads plus bridges, if that referendum, which is November of 2024, this is next year,
Correct.
if that should fail, it seems impossible to ever catch up. Am I right or wrong? I mean,
Unless something else happens. I mean, you know, the state is doing work with their penny sales tax. If you go to the Anderson County website, we have a list of every state project being done in Anderson County, whether it's being done, about to be done, or whether it's completed. So you can see what's happening there. And the Anderson County Transportation Committee has received additional money this year to do more. So the state has enough problems taking care of their roads, but they're very helpful to help us take care of county roads. But it costs a lot of money to take care of roads. And with the increased traffic, they deteriorate quickly. And we have roads, I mean, like, I drive on Whitehall, I drive on Main Street. I think they need some work. I'm pretty sure they do. Those are state roads, by the way. But if we have to team up to get something done, then we need to do that, because people really don't care if they're on a state road or a county road. They just want the road to be fixed.
and if the referendum did pass, on the other hand, there would, for the first time really since home rule, I guess, be enough money to take care of roads, right?
Yes, but also, there's a lot of road work that needs to be done in just about in front of every elementary school, middle school, and high school to make those places safer. And this is an integral part of that. I mean, safe roads are good for everybody, and it also increases business opportunities.
And I went through the DOT list, and the one that continues to stick out, and I think you mentioned last time, is the Cherokee Road. That seems to be taking forever. They don't even have a completion date on there now.
No. But it's on the list.
Do we know why that's taking so long?
I have no idea.
A lot of roundabouts on there.
A lot of roundabouts.
And you mentioned sewers too. Any update on the sewer for exit 14?
Just still waiting on those pumps. That's all we're doing. Well, it's a year, 14 months back up. 2 or 3 months on playground equipment. Air conditioning at Civic Center took about a year. I mean, we're ordering pumps now a year in advance, and they still aren't here. Everything's on the boat somewhere, riding around. I don't understand it.
Well, a little closer to where we're sitting, the Elephant Pen Park behind the courthouse seems to become a pretty popular spot. Are we still looking at plans for development there? Or?
Well, not unless somebody comes in here and decides to move the Eiffel Tower.
That would be an interesting downtown.
I think it would.
Council also said that they're going to evaluate this year all the county-owned buildings and properties to see what could be sold or repurposed. Any updates on that?
Yes, we are looking at several properties that council wants to sell that we don't need, and we also, as you know, council voted to spend $7 million to fix up the building that we're in, which desperately needs it. Again, that is completely structural and outside. And we've had people say, well, they're going to change the way the courthouse looks. No, not going to change the way the courthouse looks. Everybody likes the way the courthouse looks, but we would like to have the bricks not fall out. We would like to have a new roof on there to quit it, so it wouldn't leak. We'd like new gutters. We want it to look just like it did when they built it a long time ago, except we can't go get the turret and put it back, which I wish we could.
Do you know when that'll begin and work on this?
We're working towards that now with plans and specifications.
It seems like it's been a little while since we've had a major economic development announcement. Anything on the horizon?
Yeah, well, we have some smaller things that we haven't announced yet, but when we're used to announcing 1,000, when we say smaller, we mean 200 or 300. But we have a company that's going into our soft landing zone right now while they build their building. We haven't announced that one yet, but we've got several others on the horizon. We're also waiting on the big expansions at Bosch, TTI. We know First Quality's in an expansion mode. So all of our people are out doing something. We know that Arthrex is going to keep building. But yes, we're getting new people in, and we expect to have a whole lot more, maybe some announcements by next month.
And unemployment's back to near pre-COVID levels. We got enough people to fill all these jobs?
I think we have enough people to fill those jobs, but some of them need training, and we need, every place that you see has a help wanted sign, and so there are more jobs than there are people, but there are a lot of people who need to be trained up to take those jobs. And so if we can do that, and Tri-County Tech does a great job on that, the technical high schools do a great job on that, but the way people are moving here, a lot of people are moving here to take these jobs. Pretty nice to come to a place with a stable company, and you can buy one of these new houses and start your life here.
How about the needle on the proposed Equinox housing retail project? Do you see that moving anytime soon?
As a matter of fact, they were down there this week clearing some brush. So actually something has happened there. Unless you've been looking at that site like I have for a long time, you wouldn't notice it, but they've actually started doing some clearing work down there.
And still waiting on the state on the tax cuts for textile?
Yeah, I mean, all across South Carolina, these old textile mills would be rejuvenated and find a new use. But that tax restriction is hampering every bit of that.
It's midsummer and the farmer's market now has local tomatoes. How many tomato sandwiches have you had so far?
Probably 150.
And they got peaches and other things coming in. How's this year's market measured up?
It just seems to me like it's bigger and better than it ever has been. We've almost run out of space down there, and we're getting big crowds, and we're getting good food to eat too, and different types of food. So if you haven't been to the farmer's market on Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday, you should go. We have live music on Saturdays. People really enjoy that. And you can buy jewelry, and you can buy this, and you can buy bread. And it's just a lot of things to do. It's fun just to go down there and walk through it. And you'll probably see everybody you know down there too.
You talk about the expansion and the crowds. Is there any way to grow it? Any way to make it? That land's kind of locked in there, isn't it?
That land's locked in, and what I'd like to do is bring it downtown, but I'm still wrestling with that. All I see is Marion Square in Charleston when they block that area off, and it's like a circus every Saturday morning.
Well, even closer
here.
to home, Greenville and Spartanburg do downtown.
They do
markets,
downtown
and they
too.
close off streets,
Yes.
and it's like you said, it's a mini festival every weekend here.
Every weekend.
But even beyond produce season, they do special holiday markets.
Oh,
and
well,
stuff
Sharon
down here, and
does.
that'll be here for you know.
The holiday fair, then we have crafts out there and different things like that. And the farmers market is used all the time by people other than the county because we rent it out. We've got car shows coming up.
Very
We've got
reasonable
fish
rent
fry.
too for it.
Very reasonable. It's a good place for people to go have an event and not have to take all of what they've earned for their nonprofit to rent the facility.
And you will finish like we always do. We're about 16 weeks, I think, before the unofficial lighting of the tree on the square. Any other news about decorations? We're getting the decorations back on the tree this year.
It will look different this year.
And be bigger and taller.
It will be bigger and taller, and it will look different this year.
So the fertilizer shipping company brought in the rest.
We got fertilizer because it's locally produced.
So it's going to grow again this year.
Yeah.
Well, we'll catch up next time.
Sounds good.